Hello.
Hello, how
Hello.
are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Also good.
All right.
My
Cool, cool.
TFT game is going pretty well.
All right. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah. You don't mind this being recorded, right?
No, alright.
All right, cool. And then I just want a bit of information before we get started.
Mm.
Um what rank are you again?
Silver 4, basically. I'm one LP before
Okay.
silver.
And is Akshan your main, or is this just like one of your characters that you play?
Nah, I'm actually a top lane main,
Oh,
but
okay.
I saw a lot of Phantasm clips recently, so I got really into playing Akshan for a while.
Okay.
But I went back to Yorick top lane
Okay.
because my mechanics are just too bad to play action.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I'd say your mechanics aren't that bad. This is the thing. We're gonna be talking a lot about mid lane here because this was a mid
Hmm.
lane VOD
Yeah.
review. So I just want to clarify that because that's what you gave me. So here I'm gonna start sharing my screen now. The three things that I felt like were a little bit lacking in what happened in when you were playing this game was, first of all, when you did go for roams and when you tried to gank a lane, the ganks weren't successful, and there is a
Hmm.
reason why they weren't successful, and we're going to talk about that. A second
Okay.
thing is that you got ganked a lot. Like, you got ganked like 3 or 4 times, and
Hmm.
it felt like you weren't preparing for a gank, and you weren't really trying to get vision in order to know where the jungler is. When you're playing mid lane, we want to know where the jungler is because we are in the middle of the map and most susceptible to getting ganked. We're going to talk about that too. And then lastly, we're just going to talk about a little bit of macro. You were in mid lane and then you went. I forgot exactly what the situation was, but you were in mid lane, then you went bot lane, but Mordekaiser was already there, so you didn't really need to be there, and it was just like it was confusing
Yeah. Okay.
on. It just felt like you were just wasting time there. So we're going to talk
Yeah.
about those things. I don't really have timestamps, but I will be skipping through the video a lot. I didn't really have a problem with how you played the lane. You played very aggressively, which is good, and you poked out the Victor a lot. It was really smart because you are Akshan. Your range and early game is really really good.
Yeah.
So I want to first talk about let's just talk about a first ward that you can put. And I've already
Mhm.
like said this in multiple parts of my videos for mid lane. There's a really good ward for literally the first minute, 116. You would
Mhm.
walk over here. You would walk towards the Raptors and just place a ward right there at 116. And what
Yeah.
this
Okay.
ward does is that if they started topside, it means that you will spot them right as they get into Raptors. Or if they started
Mhm.
bot side, you will see that they went to Raptors and then they would be going towards topside. So
Okay.
it's just an easy spot for the jungler. You could spot him really, really quickly. And when we spot the jungler, we can do things to make ganking us really, really hard. And this is one thing that we can do. So if we spot the player going towards topside at like 116, when
Mhm.
we placed our ward, they're going towards topside. So we know that they're topside. One thing that we can do to make it really hard for us to get ganked is just to sit on the opposite side of the lane from them. If we sit
Yeah.
far right as possible, this is going to be super, super hard to gank. Just sitting
Okay.
over
Yeah.
here because there is more time for you to get away, and you can also just walk towards the jungle if you really need to.
Mhm.
So
So I
that's
want to be on the when I don't know where the jungler is, I want to be on the side of my jungler, or
no.
what
So
do I
when
do
you
then?
when the where the jungler is, you want to be on the opposite side. Now, if you let's say that you don't know where the jungler is, we don't know where the
Mhm.
jungler is. Okay, so let's do something that is very simple. Let us ward like this side. Let's ward this side. And if we ward this side, then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to match where our ward is. because we'll spot them earlier if they're on this side. If they're on this side, we'll spot them earlier, meaning that we can get away. But yeah, if you like didn't ward this side and you're over here, you're just gonna get immediately ganked because it's super easy.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let me try to find a point where you got ganked. Oh, there it is. So this ward would have actually helped you a lot if you did take the 116 Raptor ward, because he did just clear his Raptors. He cleared his whole bot side and then he ganked you. And this is actually something you should remember when we're in like mid lane, or just, it doesn't even matter if we're in mid lane, when we're in any lane. 230 to like 240 is where the first gank opportunity is for a jungler, because that means that they full cleared one side of their jungle and now they're level 3. This is a good time to remember. So 230 is a good time to remember when a jungler will have their first gank.
Yeah, I kind of always forget the enemy jungler until he shows up anywhere. So.
Yeah, that's kind of like a top lane thing, because top lane doesn't get ganked too much, and we forget that it's not just a 1v1, but just maybe later on we can just remember 230 to 240. I can get ganked here. Let me not get ganked. And you get ganked, and then you lived at least. That was good that you lived. And then you TP'd back, which is totally good, because you needed to, because you were getting pushed in. I want to see where I could find this gank opportunity that you got. Yeah, here it is, I think. Okay, so we're just going to watch this first, and then we'll talk about how you could have made it better. Alright, so what do you think you could have done?
I mean, I went into the vision of the Twitch pretty early, because I could have hugged the lower wall a bit more. I walked straight at him.
Yep.
And because of that, the radius of my E was also pretty small, which is why I couldn't really chase them.
Yep.
I think that's the two main issues.
Yeah, so you pretty much told, you pretty much said like a very good point. You went straight towards him, which is like, when this is like a jungler thing, but like this can also be applied to anyone when we're trying to gank a lane. Hugging the wall is always better. Hugging the opposite side of the wall is always better. And if we can go even further deeper, and this cuts them off even more. So you could see that you have time here. You have a little bit of time. Yes, they're backing up a little bit, but if you back up with them and they overstep, then that means you get a free double kill here. And then you also use your E, which you used it on the wrong wall. You use it on the wrong wall. If you use it on this wall, you understand how it works. You're gonna loop this way, and now you're right here, and boom, they're both just dead. Like there's no way they get away from this. But so whenever we're trying to roam for something and we're going for a gank, just make sure that we hug the wall, or maybe hug or go around. It's just better.
Yeah. Okay.
Just way better, because it does cut them off. If you ever heard about the concept of cutting someone off, they want to go this way. If you go towards them, that you give them more time to walk. But if you go this way, this gives them less time, and they have to think more. All right. But yeah, that's why they got away, which sucks. You could have definitely gotten both of them.
That's true.
And you're walking back towards lane. I really didn't have any problems with what your laning phase was. You did a really good job of poking out the Victor, and you did a really good job of pushing in. Because that's what Akshan wants to do. He wants to push and then roam.
Really simple.
Yep.
But oftentimes the enemy can match my push way better than I anticipate, and then I end up losing a wave because I roam.
Yeah.
Which is pretty confusing to me, but because when I watch a video of like say Phantasm, um, he roams permanently, has like 10 kills, but still 10 CS per minute.
Yeah.
Which is pretty confusing to me.
Okay. So the reason why you feel that way is because of how, so when you're saying like the other laner's pushing in the wave really quickly, and that's why you feel like you can't roam. The problem why you feel like you can't roam is because you're not pushing in the wave fast enough. That's the problem. The faster you push into the wave, it doesn't matter how fast the enemy clears it. It matters where the next wave is. You see how this wave is now walking towards? So whenever this is like a good I would say a good stopping point on when you should know if you have enough time to roam. Whenever you see the wave pass this first tower, this means that this wave is going to get here pretty quickly. It's like gonna arrive, and you have like literally like 20 seconds to roam. But if we push this wave quicker, let's just say that you like push the wave before this wave even spawned, the next wave even spawned, you're able to get a roam that's like basically a full minute. Because this wave still hasn't spawned and it needs to walk all the way back into lane. And it takes like a minute for the whole wave to get here. So
how can I push away fast? I mean, I hit every minion with my Q, and I think I'm currently, but that may just be because I'm only level 4 with no items. So.
Yeah, that is one thing. Is like the early game is a little bit worse with your wave clear. But like, yeah, this is still like this is the best push you could have done. But you backed here. Like this isn't a moment where you had a problem like that. I don't think you ever had like a problem where you roamed and you didn't feel like you could get back into lane in time. I don't think, at least.
I think the biggest problem in this game was that I couldn't translate the lead that I got. I think I went like 8-0 at some point, but then that turned into 8-4. I couldn't translate that lead into the late game. That was like my biggest problem, I think.
You were actually pretty even in the early game. You were actually like
really?
3. Yeah, you were like 3 and like 2, or like 3 and 4, something like that. And then later on, you got to like 8 and 3 because you got like you went to they like fought here, and then you got like 3 kills and like a big 1,000 gold shutdown, if I remember.
Oh, okay.
I think you want to push this way faster.
I sometimes push it slower because I want to make sure I don't miss minions.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Here, this is a little trick. So when a wave arrives, there's a really good trick on at least securing a few minions. So when a wave arrives, don't pay attention to these 3. Pay attention to these back 3 and just take them out, because these back 3 are not going to be taking minion aggro for a very long time. So you can pay attention to these, kill them all, and then you can focus on these 3. But, you know, you're going to obviously have to focus on both of these while you do this, because, like, you know, this one could get low enough while you're attacking this one, but just to...
Yeah, but that makes sense, yeah.
You'll generally always get these 3 if you just focus these 3 first.
Do I, when I don't intend to roam, do I also want to perma push as Akshan?
I would say so. Yeah. There's no point to not push in a wave anymore, because at this point, are we talking about like throughout the whole game, or are we just talking about like the early game, the mid game? What part of the game do you want to like focus on?
Early to mid game, because that's when I feel like I have to roam the most to I mean, in the late game you have to roam the most, but you know what I mean. I have to impact the map to gain a lead for my team.
And I would just totally agree with you. There is no point to not push in a wave really, really hard. There is like one point where we can say that pushing in a wave could be bad, and that is when, let's say, like Victor is like on 10% HP, and the wave is pushing towards you, you can
Yeah. Okay.
obviously just freeze it on him if you really want
Mhm.
to, but you could just make it worse for him by pushing in the wave. After you push in the wave, he might get the wave as well. You could try to tower dive him, but let's say that you didn't, then you can roam as well. It's not like it's pushing in the wave as a mid laner is always really good because that means it gives you the opportunity to go somewhere. And it
Yeah.
gives
Okay.
Victor less of an opportunity to do anything in his game. It means he's stuck here and he will never be able to move ever, ever.
Mhm.
So I think as Akshan, you should always just be pushing the wave. There's no point not to, because that is kind of just what he wants to do basically all game. He's a champion that likes to roam, get kills, and then absolutely disrupt so many fights. Oh, here's another gank
What?
that you took.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Um, I also started to play like a bit of Syndra and a bit of Victor, which are obviously both control mages. Oh, I mean, is Syndra a control mage? I don't know.
I would say she's like a long range cast. Not a lot. I mean, I wouldn't call it
I think
control
yeah, E
mage.
is pretty. Yeah, I don't know. It's not really relevant.
Yeah.
They are both scaling pretty hard, and
Yes.
I was wondering, do you also roam on them? Obviously not as hard as on Akshan, but how much do you roam on like mages and stuff
Okay.
in the mid lane?
So mages have a big issue in the early game, and that big issue is their wave clear. Their wave clear is
Hmm.
terrible. It takes them literally like maybe 3 skill rotations just to kill an entire wave, or like 2 skills, whatever. It's
Yeah.
like the same thing with Ari, with Victor, with Syndra, with Orianna. All of them take a very long time to kill a wave in the early game, and usually, uh, before level 6, they won't be roaming. Like, basically,
Okay.
almost
Okay.
never. Obviously, there are some circumstances where they can go for a roam, but
Hmm.
usually they don't because they'd rather just farm up, get to their power spike where they can start clearing waves. And level 7 and up is where um champions are able to wave clear really, really good. And that's when Victor, Oriana, Syndra, all of them get enough skills, like enough points in their skills and enough ability power and just enough mana regen that they are able to clear a wave really quickly. So anything above like level 7 and up, Victor can start roaming,
Okay.
Syndra can start roaming, Oriana can start roaming, but generally, yeah, before level 6, it's really hard to roam with those characters.
Okay. So from that point onwards, when I can push the wave in, I want to do that and want to also roam then, right?
So yes, there are. So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think, have you watched one of my mid lane videos before?
I've actually only watched 1 or 2 videos of yours.
That's fine. I don't. That's fine. So there are 2 things that mid laners want to do. The first thing is kill a lane opponent. Like that's one thing that they want to do.
Mhm.
And then the second thing is to push and roam. Those are the 2
Yeah. Okay.
things that mid laners do. So if we cannot kill our lane opponent, what should we do? Push and roam. If we can kill our lane opponent, let's go for that. So it's like it's it's every time we go back into lane, we want to make this decision. Do we want to kill our lane opponent? Do we want to push and roam?
Okay.
And you would obviously make your decision when you're in the lane. And also there's you would switch your decisions dependent on how low the enemy is and what you can do. But that's the general consensus of mid lane. Do I want to kill my lane opponent or do I want to push and roam?
Okay.
Yep. And it was basically the same thing, the same reason of why I had a problem with the other roam. Is yes, you hug the wall, which is better. This is definitely better than what you did before. But
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they do have a control ward. If they do, whatever. But just walk this way. Just walk this way. This makes this 100 times easier. Makes the
I
gank.
feel like I'm putting myself in way more danger when I walk that way, you know?
Well,
I sometimes think I should maybe go that way, but I rather go the way I am going here
hmm
because I feel like I'm putting myself in a lot of danger when I put myself between the tower and the enemies. You know what I mean?
hmm I could see why you could think that, but I have a counterpoint on why I feel like you shouldn't be afraid.
Hmm.
Akshan, or just well, we'll just talk about Akshan. Akshan has his E. His E can either be used as an engage or
Yeah.
it could be used as a disengage. So if we go into this brush and then you see that you're about to die right here, obviously you can E the wall and loop back. So
Yeah.
there are ways to, disengage from the aggressive position that you just took. But overall, this is always better because it gives them less time to basically get away from you. It gives them less time to get away from you, and also they should be stepping up even further, but we're not going to worry about that. Um, it basically just squishes them, and now they're going to waste
Yeah.
all their abilities on you, and they don't have any abilities for these players.
Hmm.
And there's also another thing that you can do to make a gank better, which this Twitch actually kind of helped you with it, and is if we spot so while we're going for this gank, we should move our camera, look at the bot lane, see where these guys are, and we want to spot anytime they step up. As soon as they step up, we're going towards them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
as soon as
Yeah.
we spot them, let's go for it. Because
Yeah.
this will obviously put them in an even worse position because they're stepping up. Like if you waited a
Yeah.
little bit in this gank, or if you took the roundabout, it would have been better. But it's whatever. Who knows what would have happened? I would just say, don't be afraid to go into this area because you have your E. Your E is a really good disengage,
Makes
and
sense.
it's like if you don't like, sometimes you might not even need to use it as a disengage. You could even use it as an engage as well. But
Mm.
yeah, and then you die. I think this is the second time you get ganked. I think. Yeah. All right. See, like it really
Yeah. Okay. That
feels
you got that
like.
also.
Yeah, it feels like you really don't pay attention to ganks and when you can be
Yeah.
aggressive
No.
and stuff. You also don't use your wards at all, by the way.
No.
And that's probably
That's the
that's a top
biggest
lane.
problem
That's a
I
top lane
have
thing.
basically.
It's for sure
Yeah.
a top lane thing. And when it comes down to mid lane, a good um, a good thing to do every time we push in a wave is, like, when we push in this wave, let's use our time to do something.
Mm.
Let's go, walk into our river and place a ward here, or place a ward on his raptors, place a ward over here. Just place a ward somewhere. And then
Yeah.
you can use that as your defensive position. Like, you might not know where the jungler is, but as we talked about before, if you ward one side, stick to that one side, and you'll less likely die to a gank because you'll spot them faster. The one thing I would say that you could have probably switched up was your collector. Honestly, collector is a very good item on you because
Mm.
execution is really good on Akshan, because if he can get execute, he can obviously revive his teammates. If we just look, this whole team, what is one thing that's like really heavy on this team?
AP.
Very heavy AP, extremely heavy AP. And you did go Merc Treads. That's good. That's one good step that you took. The second good step is Akshan has another item that he can build. I don't know if you've ever built it, and it's Wit's End.
Yeah.
Wit's End is really good on
Yeah.
him.
I built like defensive items like Wit's End or GA or something like that. I always build like fourth or fifth item if I
Mm,
do it at all.
okay. I wouldn't say that's
But
a bad thing, because generally we do want to build the most aggressive thing ever. But sometimes, like when we're like 2-2 like this can
mm,
screw up a lot of these characters. Mostly, the Victor. All these three are the most going to be screwed up. He has true damage, but still he'll be screwed up a little bit. They're going to start doing less damage, and they're not going to realize it. And whenever we get
yeah.
into a 1v1 with these characters, you will most likely win it. Except probably not the Cho'Gath. Yeah, probably not the Cho'Gath, but you could definitely win against a Mumu, Victor, and Vel'Koz. But like Wits End is a really good item if the comp is very AP heavy. AD heavy, he doesn't really have anything. I guess GA would be the best, but yeah, I wouldn't build it until very much later. There was this one video I talked about with this one of my one of the people that I coached. We talked about itemization a little bit, and the general consensus is we want to build the most aggressive build possible when we're playing the league. We want to build whatever our core build is. We want to get our static shiv, we want to get our collector, and we want to get those two items. Those two items, we want those items no matter what. We can switch it up if we are ahead. So if we're in a ahead position, we want to start building more defensively. Because the more defensively we build, we already have all that damage. Who cares about building more damage? Let's make it so we're less killable, and they will have a harder time killing us. So we can start building more defensively the more ahead you are. So, and when you are behind, just keep building your core build. Just go aggressive, go aggressive, go aggressive. When you are ahead, start building more defensively. And then when you are behind, build more. Just keep doing core. Just do your core build. Core build every time. But
yeah, okay.
I don't think it really matters in this game. But that's just one thing that maybe you can use in your games is when we start getting ahead, we already have all that damage. We don't need more damage. Let's build more defensively. Give them a harder time to kill us, and then the game is over for them. They can't kill us anymore.
Yeah, okay. As Akshan, do I primarily want to fight front to back, or do I want to flank if I can? Because sometimes I feel like I just get bursted if I do decide to flank.
Yeah, so Akshan definitely has two different playstyles. You can either do a front to back, or you can do a flank. Because he is still technically like an assassin ADC, like an assassin AD carry. But it's obviously flanking is a little bit riskier, and overall, I mean, it's just a little bit riskier. You just need to it's a lot of knowing how to position yourself where you're still safe, even though that you're flanking. And that just comes with time, that comes with practice, that comes with playing a lot of games. That's a lot of micro. That's a lot of micro that you just need to start learning as you play the game more, as you play Akshan more, as you just learn from what you're doing. And it's also, you can learn stuff from, what you're doing already, which is watching other people play Akshan. And that's one step. But the second step is, yes, watching them play, but try to analyze what they're doing or what decisions they're making. Why are they making this decision? Why are they doing this? And sometimes maybe they explain it to you. Just try to understand why these players are making these decisions.
Yeah.
This is actually a top lane concept that I talk a lot about in top lane. So, you know what split pushing is, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm a Yorick main.
You know what split pushing is. So this is like how I like making rules for this. I like making rules for a lot of concepts that we make or a lot I like to talk about. So split pushing starts when we pass this, when we pass the wall. That's when our split push begins. When we begin a split push, you should be asking some questions. First question is my team adding pressure anywhere else? That answer is no. There's no one else adding pressure. You got a person back, there's a person back here, there's a person over here. Number 2, where is the enemy? Nowhere. We don't have no idea. And I guess those are just, and also number 3, I guess, is someone matching me? And yes, there is the Cho'Gath matching you. So with those 3 rules, we want at least 2 of them to be a yes. For the most part, we want one of our team, we want someone to be adding pressure somewhere. We want to know where the enemy is, and we want to know if someone's matching us. So if we see that there's nobody here, nobody, like, we don't know where the enemy is, this is an immediate back off. There's no reason to step up. We just sit in this bush, we wait. We wait, because we don't know where anybody is. This is very scary for us, because if we die,
Yeah.
we're literally giving them this Rift Herald right here. Also, another thing, our team is not adding pressure anywhere else. This means that this us split pushing is not doing anything. This is doing nothing, because all it's doing is telling the enemy, hey, we have an Akshan up here in top lane, let's go collapse on this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then,
But
what's up?
here, I wouldn't know what to do else because I pushed this wave.
Mhm.
And then, like you said, I could just wait here for the next wave, but that feels like just wasting like half a minute of my time
Okay, so if you...
because I can't go mid lane. There's the Mordekaiser, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand what you mean. Um, it might feel like a waste of time to, yes, stay here, but there is, obviously this isn't the only option you have. Yes, this is one option where you can stay here, wait for something to happen, see what's going on. The second, or like we'll say a better option. A better option is to walk towards river. Positioning is really important when it comes down to when we have time. So it might look like we're wasting time just walking down this river, but it's actually giving us information. It's giving us information on if someone's in the river. It's giving us information of can we ward somewhere, and it's also making sure that we know that, or no, it's not making sure, but it's telling the Udyr that, oh, you're with him right here, so you're supporting him basically. That would probably be the only decision you can make right now, because
Okay.
you have to follow what your team is doing, and if your team is not doing anything, then you can't do anything as well. That's what sucks, but that's how you have to play in order to like rank up and not get caught. That's probably the only play you have. Walk into river, spot Rift Herald, maybe ward right here. Maybe you'll spot the Amumu while you're walking there and you'll back off, but you can get a ward down, you can accomplish things while we can't do anything, you know? We can accomplish some things. Are we gonna talk? So you're talking about like the skirmish that they just had, you know? Are we talking about
Yeah.
that? Yeah, like you
Yeah,
died,
because,
and that's why a skirmish started.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not really the strongest member in my team.
Yeah.
That's obviously Mordekaiser,
Hmm.
and I think he was a part of that skirmish.
He was, and then he died.
Yeah, so me being there wouldn't really have made much of a difference.
I would say.
I mean, of course, it would have made a difference because we have an extra man. But,
Yeah.
my I guess observation was that we can't really win the team fight.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if I'm there.
No. Okay. Well, I would heavily agree that your team fight, just this team fight versus your team versus their team fight is 100 times better just by a few members. We got a big CC monster, big ass tank with CC. We got a control mage. We got an ADC that absolutely is disgustingly scaled. A person that does true damage, and then we got a Udyr that stuns, that's a little bit tanky, a guy that 1v1s people, ADC slash, I don't know, 1v1er, and then ADC, obviously, and then a poke mage. So, yes, you guys don't win these skirmishes. And what can we do? Not fight them. And obviously, you can't do anything about it when your team does fight them. I would say the best
But
option is to fight with them if they do go for a fight. But the best possible thing to do is what you said before. If the reason why they're able to team fight like this is because nobody is applying pressure on multiple lanes. Mordekaiser's now doing it. But if we just have you up here, Mordekaiser here, two people here, this makes it so they have to spread out. And if they start to spread out, multiple some of these members are weaker if they don't have someone to support them. Like a Victor. If the Victor is all alone, he will always lose to you. He will always lose to
Mm.
Mordekaiser. He will always lose to the Udyr, and that's that. And then like that's the same thing with Twitch. If he'll lose to you, he'll lose to more. Like he'll lose to people if they start being spread out. And yes, their team fight is better. So the best decision is to yes go into the side lanes, start spreading out their numbers so they can't do their crazy team fight. And obviously objectives will kind of suck, but try to get a pick before an objective, but that's going to be hard as well.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I often when I am like in champ select and I see this crazy stacked team fighting team Amumu, like for example this team, I ask myself like, how can I even win this game when every game in bronze goes to 30-40 minutes,
Yeah.
and everyone gets the full build,
Yeah.
because you have to rely on these late game team fights to win the game.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's something else. That's,
Yeah, I mean sometimes team like I'm just gonna say team comps matter. They don't matter as much in solo queue because obviously you're not gonna coordinate really well. But when it comes down to like Amumu is just a team fight machine. If you see an Amumu on the enemy team, it requires someone to be an engage, and I've talked about this in one of my videos. Is like if you spot someone on their team with an engage and your team doesn't have one, you're most likely going to lose every single team fight because you just don't have an engage. Engage is like super important in team fights. It's like if you have no one to start it, they're always going to start it, and when they start it, it's going to catch you guys off guards, and it's not going to let you guys do the most damage you can possibly do. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about how we can save ourselves from these long games. How can we save ourselves from these games where people are just 5-stacking everywhere? And the way we do that is by spreading their numbers. This is the only way we can make them not be able to be a 5v5 comp. If we spread our numbers, if someone makes a pick somewhere, this makes it extremely hard for them to do what they want to do. When they have less numbers, it becomes a 5v4. You have numbers advantage, you would probably always win,
Okay, that's pretty helpful.
But like this game didn't really have an option. It's really hard in this game because I didn't feel like you really had an option to go split really. Well, you had options to split. Like Mordekaiser's doing a good job right now. He's doing exactly what he needs to be doing. And you're actually doing exactly what you need to be doing. No one's covering mid. You're covering mid for them. They should be covering mid, but it doesn't really matter. Then the Lux gets caught. You can't do nothing about this. And great, Lux gets caught. So you made a good decision here. I think you went back. Yeah, you went back towards mid. Yeah, good. So this is a good decision. You can't fight this Autocon no more, or this Rift Herald. It's not possible. So you go mid.
That objective is so frustrating.
Oh, it is very frustrating. It is very frustrating. But I like that you go mid.
It's a one-time thing. Yeah.
Yep. And I like that you took a tower. But then you did something. I have no idea why you did this. And it's like you were applying pressure mid. They just took Autocon. Okay, cool. You spot the Victor and the Mordekaiser bot. You head towards bot now to like go help the Mordekaiser for some reason. But like he's already fine. If I don't know if you had your camera on him or not.
I just wanted to steal a kill, if I'm being honest. I think that was my main objective.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But this is like a point where like you don't have to be coming, you don't have to come down here. This requires if you go down here, this just makes it so 2 people have to go down here. But it'll probably just be all your team all the team go down here after they took, Otacon. But you could have just kept pushing mid. He could have kept pushing bot, and it would have been a lot better. Just.
I think I kind of went down there to at first to try to help him to fight him. Then I kept on going to try to steal the kill, and then I was like already on the way. So I thought, why not take the tower as well?
Yeah, I
think that was my thought process.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's wrong, but
it's not wrong. It's not a bad This is the thing. This is not a bad decision, but there is a better decision you can make. Like, I'm not saying this is a terrible decision. This is like a decision you can definitely still make in a game because it still gets you ahead. So, I think I don't know. Do you know how much this tower is worth? I mean,
yeah, 700.
Yeah, it's like basically 700 gold. But like you could split it. You could split up the gold between the two members, this is fine because Mordekaiser's already really far ahead, and you can get a little bit ahead by getting the tower. This isn't like a bad decision. This helps you get ahead even further. So I would just say you could have gone mid and caused them to spread out their numbers more and made them make terrible decisions, and maybe you could have like picked someone. But like this is all just very concept. This is all concept or like theory. This is all theory. We can't really know what's going to happen in a game. This is not like a terrible decision. I'm not going to say this is a terrible decision. It's a decent one, but I would say a better decision probably sticking mid, getting some tower damage off of that mid tower, and spreading out their numbers, because Mordekaiser was still going to take that tower anyways. But he would get all the gold rather than you guys splitting it up between you. And I think you actually went. This is where this game turned around for you guys, where you could have gotten a big lead. This is where you got one kill, and I think you guys kept going later on after this. This is where you actually start snowballing a lot. Team is bot side. You're pushing top. Very nice. I like it. You still have TP. Really good. You make really good decisions when it comes down to using TP properly. You're pushing waves when you should be, and you're pushing you are there where you should be. You're at a point where you should be, and like you just caused someone else to TP, and now this is a 5v4 now, and I think this is also where you get more ahead. You guys get all these kills. You get a shutdown on this guy, really nice. You are getting so much gold here. Very nice. Very nice. But you guys still ended up losing this game. And you're still snowballing. You kill this Victor, I think, now. Your ult is crazy strong. I'm so like livid on how strong your ult is. That killed him. That is so crazy to me.
Yeah, this is often when my team, or when I'm behind, right now I'm ahead, but
yeah,
when my team is behind, I prefer to go for the tower and maybe look for the inhib and not fight, because I just want to secure that objective and not flip the fight.
Okay, I understand. So this is the turning point on why you guys lost. I'm pretty sure. Obviously, this isn't exactly where you lost. But this is exactly the point where I felt like you fucked up here. I feel like you really fucked up here. And the reason is your team is going for Baron here. You still have TP. This is really good. You're split pushing. Really good split push. Now, the one thing that this is the reason why this is bad. You did not TP for this, and then your team gets wiped. And you know that you are far ahead. You know that you can do some stuff now. You can actually play the game now. And if we just look at this still frame, we see that Twitch is down. We see that Cho'Gath's down. Obviously, this is a 4v3 over here if you don't TP. So they technically should win this, but they don't. So let's make our life even easier next time. If this is happening, yes, getting this tower and inhib is a good choice. We should be doing this because our team should be winning this. But let's make it less of a flip and then just 5v3 this fight. Let's TP here.
Yeah, okay.
Just
Makes sense.
TP. Because it's like,
Yeah.
this is where we lost the game. This is like literally where we lost the game. Your team gets wiped. I don't even know if you get this inhib. I think you do. I don't really remember. Actually, maybe you do TP for this. No, you don't. Yeah, you don't TP. Your team gets wiped. They get Baron. And this is way worse for you now. You do get the inhib. Oh, no, you don't get the inhib.
Oh, okay.
You don't get the inhib. But you can see how this is a little bit worse than just TPing and then hopefully winning the fight, maybe not getting the Baron, but winning the fight and causing them to be down even further. Because like look at this gold difference that you guys had before this Baron fight started. You guys are basically even at this point. Super even. Like only down 700 gold. Like that is not even an item. That's not even a full, not even like half an item, not even a quarter of an item. The second you didn't go for this TP play, you went down almost 3k gold from this one fight. From this one fight, your whole team gets wiped, they get Baron, and this sucks. This sucks. This is where you guys got further behind and where you probably just lost the game here now. Obviously, you could still win. This made it really bad, so just TP for this. Let's not. I know that you said like I don't want to fight because it's a flip coin, but in this circumstance,
I'm not
it was
100% sure if that was my reasoning. I have really bad memory, and this was a few days or a week ago.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. Just try to if you see this situation happen again, that the Cho'Gath's down, the like 2 people are down on their team, they're trying to fight on Baron, and this is good for them. If they go for a flip of a coin here, that's good for them. They want to flip this because if they flip this, they can absolutely win. And then they flipped it and then they won. So let's not give them that option. Let's never give them that option. Let's just TP for this, obliterate them, and then yes, you didn't get the inhib. Yes, you didn't get a tower, but now you can secure Baron. You can secure, and then you can secure a better lead. But that's just next time, no? I mean, that's kind of all I have. So what we went over is, you know, how to gank other lanes better, how to not die to ganks a little bit better, and we talked a little bit about how roaming is or how you can roam better, or how to set up your timer a little bit better, which is pushing the wave as fast as possible. But yeah, that's kind of all I got. Do you have any questions?
No, that was quite helpful.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Would you be willing to do this again for top lane?
Yeah, of course. I would not mind to do a top lane one.
Nice. Okay, do you...
What's that?
do you prefer